Hello there, you're watching and listening to another Scoutcast on www.fantasyfootballscout.co.uk, and my name is Mark.
My name's Granville.
And my name's Jonty.
Good evening, gentlemen. How are you, Granville? Welcome back to the Scoutcast.
Missed last week. I really did miss it. I went online during the evening that wasn't on the Scoutcast, and I got criticised because I shouldn't have been going online whilst I had a cold.
Yeah, I saw that. Jonty and I were apologising for your absence, building it up. We were like, yeah, he must be on he's really must be bad because he's got 60 points, so why would he not turn up? Then after the Scoutcast, I saw you online, merrily tapping away. What's going on here?
What a skiver.
I know. It's outrageous. I mean, Luke did a very good job stepping in for you, and we did miss him, didn't we, Jonty? But it's good to have him back.
Yes, it is. It's good to. Yeah, obviously now we've got a good fantasy manager in our midst after a bit of a average week for us. So.
Indeed, yes, indeed, yes. Welcome to the Scoutcast. Welcome back to Granville. If you haven't watched or listened to one of these before, basically it's three middle-aged men talk about fantasy football and how we're having mediocre seasons. Although in Granville's case, he's having a revival. We're going to talk about the main issues. We're going to talk about tonight. We're going to talk about Martial. Granville saw him in the flesh on Sunday, so we'll have lots to talk about there. We're going to talk about Hazard. Is he back in the game now after his goal against 9 men, as Granville points out? We're going to talk about defenders, and we're going to look ahead to the fixtures for the weekend and talk about our transfers. And yeah, the usual nonsense. We'll also talk about Jonty being a dullard because we have to every week. Yes, so we're cracking on. We've got rough with the smooth, Jonty. Yes. Before we do that, let's talk about our game weeks. Granville, do you want to start? Because you did rather well, didn't you?
I did all right. I did. Let's have a look. I got 57 points, which wasn't too bad, not too shabby. Well higher than the average. Yeah, it's the kind of thing that you need. The star man for me was Tony Marshall.
Yeah.
Course. Now, when I got him during the week, he wasn't nailed on. Obviously, he'd scored the week before, and I just thought, because I said to you, didn't I? I said I'm going to probably get him, and you're like, not too sure. I just thought I'd just take the risk because Depay, my United player, wasn't doing anything, and I just wanted to upgrade Gested. And that was the main thing. On the Saturday, all the players I considered all scored. Ingalo, Vardy, and Bojan. And it come to Sunday, and I knew I was going to the game and everything. I was just cursing myself. I was just saying, not only have I missed out on the points for those players, I'm going to the game. Marshall probably won't start, and he'll come on for a cameo. But how wrong I was.
Well, it shocked me. I mean, it took me by surprise when I saw your team and you had him in there, and I thought, well, that's nothing short of a maverick move. Jonty, were you surprised by Granville's maverick?
Well, no.
Well, you're not. Okay.
Because I knew he was going to the game, and I actually thought that was a key factor. Obviously, he's a Manchester United fan, and it's something we may or may not touch on later about transfers and price rises. But when a Manchester United player, just because of their global fan base, when a Manchester United player does well, wow. So, I mean, what are we looking at? We're looking at a 0.3 rise for Tony Marshall this week.
Yeah. He's gone up to it's got up to 13% ownership.
Whereas we had a quite interesting post during the week saying that Pedro, when he joined, was posting similar transfers in, and he didn't rise at all. So there's lots of people wondering what was going on there. But nevertheless, if you're a Manchester United fan, very exciting teenage talent comes in. You're going to the match. Well, it's good. And it's clearly it's what they need.
I did sell Depay, so it's not quite as simple as that. I did swap one United player for another. But it didn't cross. I mean, it certainly crossed my mind that I was going to the game and I wanted an attacking player.
Yeah, it's a live football factor. We talked about it before.
But it just doesn't normally work. The amount of times I've been and captained them. I didn't captain Marshall because I wasn't guaranteed that he'd be starting, but I thought that he'd make an impact, and I got a little bit of criticism for it before the game, and proved him wrong.
Well, we're going to talk about Martial. We call him Tony Marshall just out of jest because he's a new Terry Henry. We're talking about Martial in a bit more depth later on because we've got some community questions. John T, how did your week go?
Yeah, it was all right actually. It was okay in the end. I had 51 points. I was looking at a kind of an averagey type score. The average was 41, so I got 10 over the average. The Houlihan, who I left on the bench last week, I played this week. He didn't get a single minute. Actually worked out well for me because I got Payet's 5 points come in. This may not seem grand, but I captained Aguero, who got 5 points, so 10 points. But this season, 5 points for captain. Wow, yeah. It was like hanging the bun. We had a street party.
I thought the same thing.
I thought, wow, that'll do me. And so I Payet, Wilson, another player I got in fairly recently. Jack Butland got me an assist. I've got Mahrez in as well. Richards impressed me. I'm pleased I got him. My big downfall was the guy that you two were urging me and everyone else to get collar off. Don't know what all the fuss about.
Got here we go.
Got him in.
Granville, yeah, because let's look at it now because you've got Wilson and you've got collar off. Let's rewind 3 weeks. Yeah. Granville, over to you.
Yeah, 3. We predicted it, didn't we? Didn't we,
Mark?
Well, shall I tell you? Here you go. What John's going to say is, you knew they were going to get injured.
Yeah, we've already had.
Going to get them anyway. Yeah. You were in an hour in straight after that.
Okay,
hey, let me carry on. Straight after that 9 out of 10 wild card that you had, straight away you got rid of half the team. So come on, let's get it straight.
I'm going to have to get a T-shirt. 9 out of 10 wild card on. The reason I got collar off in is because Company was out, and I saw that game. I really didn't think West Ham. I thought. I mean, yeah, West Ham had done a hammer job on Liverpool and Arsenal, but I didn't think they were going to do it to Man City. And I was looking at everyone having collar off, no Man City cover, so in defence. So without Company, I'm thinking, well, okay, this is the moment. I get this guy in. The weird thing, so I've been playing this for a while. How long has collar off been in the FPL? Four seasons now. This is literally the first time I've ever owned him. I'd never owned him before. This was it. And what a welcome! There's no points. He's rubbish.
Well, I mean, you've jinxed him, haven't you? Because he was doing so well for me and Granville. As soon as you actually admit that you were wrong and we were right, it all goes belly up.
But Wilson, I got in for Diouf. My reasoning for that was that he was cheaper and Diouf was injured, and so he wasn't going to play. And I actually think Wilson and Diouf are much of a muchness, really. They're in that kind of...
No. And you forgot to say, and Wilson's a better fancy prospect than Diouf. That's the point you forgot to mention.
Well, no, because Diouf's been injured, so he hasn't had a chance to pit his skills against the dazzling Wilson. But Wilson's not that great away. He's pretty good. He's very good at home. He's a home banker, I would say.
Not great away. Hat-trick at West Ham. Oh dear.
Well, no, that's not. Let's
not count that.
No, that's a one-off.
You're gonna get a yellow card for that.
No, that was a one-off. That was the one-off.
He's floundering. We got him, but who am I to talk? Look at my game week.
Yeah, how did that go?
45 points. I'll take some of the heat off you, John T. 45 points. Now I've got a tale of woe here. This is my early rough of the smooth. This is my rough. So what I did was I looked at it and thought, well, I don't need to get rid of Shaw. He's gone down in price, but I've still got him. I'm going to get 0-1 out of him anyway, so I'll hold on to him. Have 2 transfers. Give myself the luxury of a bit more information. Someone, as it happens, Silva got injured, so it's actually quite useful that I've got 2 transfers now. So I don't regret that. But look, I thought, what's the worst that can happen? Because if I don't have Shaw available and I've only got 2 subs, I'll still be all right because I've got Elphick and I've got Gomez, so it'll be fine. What happens? So not only do Gomez gets dropped, okay, so hands up, that was always a risk and could have happened. It just so happens it happens this week. Elphick picks up an injury. I think he's played 78 consecutive matches for Bournemouth or something. Anyway, ridiculous. So he doesn't play for the first time in 16 years. And then what happens? Silva picks up an injury in the warm-up. So all of that transpires, and I end up with no one to come off the bench to replace Gomez. And I could have got Dawson. I talked about getting a West Brom defender in. I could have done that, and had I done that, I'd have got the points. So it's a bit of a chain of events which led me to having a miserable game. That would have made my game look a bit more respectable. As it is, 45 points, terrible, absolutely terrible. And I'm 1.3 million in the world.
You're floundering.
Yeah. So
things are changing, Mark.
Well,
you remember all that luck you had last year?
Luck, yeah, I remember all the luck. It was all luck. 42nd in the world, all complete luck. Yeah, I remember. Yeah. Anyway, I mean, I'm thinking that now I'm still gonna leave my attacking players because I'm one of these people who have kept faith with Sanchez, kept faith with Aguero. I've got Gomez and Ayew, which is probably a mistake. Swansea haven't scored for 3 matches. But I don't want to change that because the way I see it this season is that every time you change it, it's ever shifting kind of. It's Payet. No, it's not. It's Ayew. No, it's Gomez. No, it's Wilson. And if you're always chasing this, then I might regret it. So I'm just going to sit tight, and I need to change my back four. So I'm going to invest in defence.
You changed that within a couple of weeks. You said you're going to follow every bandwagon because you were worried about the Ramsey and Yaya Toure thing that you had 2 years ago, and now you've gone back on it.
Well, the bandwagon this week is Martial, and I'll give you my reasons why I'm not following that one just yet later on. But John T,
I think your team's in trouble, Mark.
No, I'll be fine.
Trouble.
No,
even with 2 transfers, you got problems.
No, it'll be fine. I'll sort out.
You're gonna have to spend 2 transfers on 2 defenders.
Yeah, that's all right. Because I've got faith in the attacking players I've got. They're going to come good. They're all starting. I've got to change Albrighton now because he's in and out of the team. But that's not an emergency. If Silva doesn't. If Silva's a doubt, then I may well get 1 defender and get 1 midfielder, and that midfielder may well be Hazard. We'll talk about him later on. John T, rough with the smooth, make me feel better and give me some tales of woe from the community.
No, I'm not. I'm going to give you some tales of I'm just going to get one over you here and go straight in with the smooth. Now, we've had some feedback, just before I say this, we've had some feedback on the site. We asked what people liked and didn't like about the Scoutcast, and they said they like the rough with the smooth to be a little smoother, as it were. So.
Did they?
Yeah, they did. They like it. So I'm going to try and keep this as concise as I can. So I'll start off with some smooth ones here, to the new era of smoothness. So I've bundled some of these up. So this was a week of bench luck. There's another word.
I don't want to hear that, do I?
On Twitter that we're not going to say on air. But yeah, people who are very lucky with their bench. So Ryan, he got Sacco off the bench as his second sub. He had points. He's had points off the bench every week since game week 1. Larry Legend got Evans 8 points off the bench due to Gomez and Muniesa no-show, and I also got some bench points there. Payet, not as good as these guys, and then there's also a challenger to Andy, who's currently leading our moderators and contributors league at the moment to the Maverick Crown of the Week, and that's to Rhinos, who captained, who would have thought it, Janmat. I mean, what goes through someone said captaining Janmat?
He was at differential. We picked him out and he did the business. And he's Newcastle's best attacking player at the moment. So.
Well, he is, but why would you go for any Newcastle player as captain? But nevertheless, he did.
Especially a defender who wasn't going to get a clean sheet.
Yeah, I mean, hats off to him. So
going back to Andy, I just want to mention it. A shout out to him. He captained Kevin De Bruyne, didn't he?
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
He scored. Yeah.
He actually benched Richie, so not everything not everything went to plan. But he got another 56 points. He's 3,000th in the world at this stage. Is pretty good going. Yeah. He benched Butland as well.
Yeah.
Well, rough, John team, come on.
Yeah, you want to feel better now. So let's get this. So Benteke, he just completely ruined everyone's week here. So Hookie transferred out Sacco for Benteke and captain the Liverpool man. AA drafted out Pella, who scored a brace for Benteke. Van der Vaart took a hit, transferred out Deeney for Benteke, who we also captained.
I mean, he had a good fixture and he looked like a captain contender
on paper, but form. Yeah, but form this season has showed that he probably wasn't the best one to get in.
Now he's cropped, isn't he?
I mean, this one as well. Trust John. I mean, I'm not going to trust John now because look, he ditched Hazard and Sacco, 17 points for Coutinho and Benteke. That's 3 he got. So let's have a couple of other terrible moves. Patch, he sold Hazard for Sanchez for a hit.
For a hit.
And because Silva was injured, he'd actually played his all-out attack chip, which was then properly injured, which was wasted.
That's a sick no, isn't it? That is just.
And this one, finally, terrible captaincy here from Nantab and Nomalus. He captains my new friend Kolarov, and So he got 0. None of his captains have got more than 2 points. He provides a list of them. It's a list of shame. It's 1 point, none, 2. Poor guy. Anyway,
see, I captain Kolarov in Ultimate. I thought I'm going to roll the dice here. That's not. I mean, I'm doing pretty well. I thought I'm going to gamble because the thing is with Ultimate, you got Sunday, haven't you, as a way out, so you can always gamble your first captain pick, which is kind of nice. And yeah, Kolarov didn't come off first time. I should have known you were going to get him. Jonty spoiled it for us all. Yeah. I mean, has any of my captains got more than 2 points? I think, did I captain Rooney on the opening day, and he got that really assist.
I thought you were in the same boat, that you haven't had any points from your captains. I'll have a look now.
No, I don't think I have.
Well,
those were my first points. So the 5 points from Aguero. Everything else has been 2 or 1.
I've had a 5 point from Rooney and a 9 point from Benteke. Everyone's enemy this week, but from that dispute.
So we've been chatting. I mean, a couple of weeks ago, last time I was on, I was saying that the only choices for captain this week is Sanchez and Aguero. And I kind of look back and I just think, I mean, it's a bit narrow-minded, really, isn't it? That those are the only, because those are the most expensive players, and they did well last season. That's the only choice.
I think Mahrez was the one that it shows the mindset of us lot that we got Mahrez. None of us thought to captain him.
No, but I think it's difficult though because he's playing away from home. You captained Walcott first week, Mark.
Yeah, that's right. So Aguero is my first points as captain this week. The one just gone. My first points as captain. Yeah, I mean the captain thing. I mean we've stuck with tradition, haven't we? We've looked at it and gone Sanchez or Aguero all the way, and eventually, let's be honest, it will pay off eventually. But in that time, with so much ground is lost to those people who have been braver. Eventually, there's no way Sanchez and Aguero will go on blanking to the level they are at the moment. Similarly, Hazard will hit form. It's just surely not possible. No. And Mahrez won't keep it up. There will be a change, but all credit to those people who have gone with Mahrez all this time and captained him. Was it 4 double-figure returns? Incredible stuff. And home to Arsenal, who knows? He could do it again. I mean, Arsenal's defence, lots of questions there perhaps at the moment. So I don't know. I don't know what I'll do this week.
It definitely is a tricky one. I mean, it's just had Aguero done something last week, I think it would, away to Spurs. He's got a good record against Spurs. You'd have thought, we'd all have him captain, but I'm not sure. And even because it's the early game as well, I think I know I'm gonna captain.
But, you can captain Martial.
Yeah, I might as well. Just before the bandwagon.
I actually think Martial is probably the best captain for this week because of the match. I wouldn't say he's the best transfer to get in because of afterwards the matches aren't so great. But this week, Sunderland's basically our championship side. That's it. And Martial is on hot form. I really do not fancy their chances of keeping him at bay. And the same. And I would also say the same. Possibly for, I don't know, I'm slightly less on Chelsea's side because I'm looking at the opposition. Sunderland and Newcastle are the whipping boys at the moment. Whoever's against them is going to score. Chelsea, obviously, with Costa out, it's a bit up in the air. They've got options, but man,
they're not in great form though. I think Payet might be an option.
Yeah,
and then obviously Mahrez. And I think there are choices this week, and one, some of them are going to pay off, and some of them are going to let you down. Yeah. It's just I think Aguero. I don't know. I don't know what it is because he's had chances. He had a couple of chances at the weekend as well. And didn't put them away. I don't know what's going on.
The reason I captained him this week is because before he got hauled off an injury, he was doing well. He was very threatening against Palace. He could have scored there. And I completely underestimated West Ham's ability to do one over on them.
Of course, and you can't.
It's not Man City. It's West Ham just did a number on them.
And again, you can't beat yourself up for that because I think Aguero's the best striker in the Premier League. Let's not. There's no point in debating that. He is the best striker in the Premier League. He's not converting his chances at the moment, and he has gone through these kind of spells before where he snatched opportunities and the confidence seems low. But having said that, if you throw Silva back in, you've got the most creative team in the Premier League and playing behind the best striker in the Premier League. It still adds up to it's a good idea to captain Aguero, but I don't know. It's going to go to the wire for me. I'm an arm. It's going to depend on Silva's availability. Champions League is perhaps a concern because Man City have got to win that.
Yeah.
But they're going to, interesting, they're going to Borussia Mönchengladbach on Wednesday. Notice the way I smoothly pronounce that. I've been practicing. Borussia are bottom of the Bundesliga. I noticed before I came on air, they've lost all 5 of their matches this season. So Man City are going to look at that and go, well, we should win that. So then I don't think they're going to. It's going to be really interesting if Pellegrini takes the risk with Silva. If there's any doubt about his fitness, whether he'll take the risk. I think he's got to, because I think having lost to West Ham, he's got to get a result at Spurs, and he's going to need Silva. So I don't know. I think
I don't think Silva's going to play midweek. I really don't, and I think they've got enough. De Bruyne has started really well. In fact, he looked really impressive at the weekend. I think he might be the option.
Also, I mean, he's so used to the Bundesliga, so he'll know those players. He'll know that kind of. It's an away game as well. It's just, I mean, all these little things, they all add up. And Man City have all those options in midfield. Yeah. It's really true. I was thinking about Aguero. I mean, Aguero usually should be on like 30%, 35% ownership. You should be looking at 25, 30% of managers captaining him on one of those games like West Ham, but it wasn't. It was only about 15, 16%. So part of the fear factor of not captaining Aguero for me is gone. If I captain him, it will be because I think he'll be my highest scorer, rather than I think I'll be severely hammered if, so to speak, with West Ham. If I'll be hammered as well if he does well. So I'd be thinking about who I think is going to score the most points in my team. I think it's Pedro or Payet will score the most, or whoever I bring in. I don't think Aguero will score. I think Aguero will probably, if they're cruising, I think he'll come off at 60, 70 minutes. I can't see him getting 90.
If they're cruising, then Aguero will have scored, in my view. But there you go, we'll see.
Yeah, but if he scores one goal, that's
not okay. I know you need more than one goal.
It's not bad this season, though.
Well, yeah, I'll take that.
I'll take that as well. Okay, community questions, because the first one's about Martial. Isn't there a couple on that, John T?
Well, yeah. So Eskuki asks, or Kuchi rather, asks about Tony Marshall. Is he a flash in the pan or a viable option? I think this might be a mistake, a reference to. I don't know if Granville mentioned that you had called him a flash in the pan, Mark, or whether that was.
No, I said that it's too early and he's a one for the future, and I actually said it on Talk Sport. It's one for the future. Made myself look very silly. But there's also a follow-up from Ryan saying, "Are we now divided into 2 camps for the next 5 or 6 games? Those with Martial, and those without." So Granville, you got him early. You've made 0.2 out of him already. Congratulations! You saw him in the flesh on Sunday. So you're best to tell us, even though you're biased, heavily biased as a United fan, is he the real deal?
Let me just get back to what you said the other day on Monday. You said he was a flash in the pan.
No, I never said.
Let's get that right. That's what you said to me.
No.
No, that's what you said to me. He's a
Unless
flash.
You have evidence to the effect. I deny.
Well, I was there, but if you don't want to take my word for it, then fair enough.
Anyway, go on.
Okay, and you were there also. Do I think he's a flash in the pan? No, I don't. And because he looks like he is United's #1 striker now. Rooney has had like an awful start to the season. He didn't actually play very well against Southampton either. But he is in probably a preferred position behind the striker. He needs someone to work with, and he's got a man there who's like he looks like he's got a lot of confidence. He carries the ball really well. He's got threat. He's got pace, and he's lethal. So what's there not to like about? I was
going to say, Granville, just to back up your case, while we've been talking, he has just scored against Ipswich. So there's another goal. He's only been on the pitch for 20 minutes, and he's just scored another one. So he's doing
against the mighty Ipswich.
Against the mighty Ipswich.
This prediction that we had that John T would have Wilson and Kolarov in their side.
Yeah, I like Marshall.
In his side, right? I guarantee in the next fortnight, both of you will have Tony Marshall in your side.
I tell you why. If I get Marshall in, it will be this week because he's against Sunderland, and I'll captain him. If I don't get him this week, I'm not getting him again for another couple of weeks because the fixtures are just not worth it. And also, I'd have to dump Gomez or Wilson or Aguero, and out of those 3, it'd probably be Aguero for Marshall against tough opposition. So I think, if I get him in, it'll be this week. I'm not going to get him in next week, though.
I guess it's a bit disappointing that he scored actually tonight, because it just means that he's just going to get a hell of a lot more interest
Is that possible? I mean,
I was saying to one of the guys I was with on Sunday, I said, he'd already scored 2 goals, and I says, come on, he needs to score another. And the guy goes, you've been a bit greedy there, aren't you? And I said, well, yeah, but if he doesn't score, this is the only time he can score that no one else has got him. This is the only time I've got. The only window of opportunity is the next 20 minutes to actually get himself another goal. Because everyone's going to jump on. So there you go.
I think you're getting carried away. Let me build a case for those who haven't got him yet, right, including me. Let's offer some reassurance for those panicking. They're going, oh, he's gone up 0-2, he's going to go up 0-3, what am I going to do? Right. The fixtures, first of all, Jonty makes a good point. Okay, Sunderland at home. Okay, Martial, it's all there. It's on a plate for him. Should score again, right? If he doesn't, if miracles happen and he doesn't score in every game, and he doesn't score against Sunderland, it's then he follows that up with Arsenal, Everton away, and then Man City at home. He's not going to find it easy in those games to score goals, but he may still do it. We'll see. We'll see if he's fixture-proof over those 3 games. Look at United in total. If you look at the number of shots that they've had in the box this season, they've had, let's see how many they've had. Only Stoke, Newcastle and Sunderland have had fewer, right? So they're not, at the moment, creating enough chances to shoot in the box for Martial to go crazy. Right? They've struggled to this point to create opportunities for a centre-forward. That may be because Rooney's not a centre-forward, they haven't had a centre-forward. That could be the case, and we might see that stat rocket now. Martial has had 4 shots and he scored 3 goals. There's no way he's going to keep that.
He's only had three shots in the box. So the stalking over striker, he's got 100% record of shots in the box.
Wow.
Obviously, that's unsustainable.
Yeah, I mean, so he. To be honest, there's no way he's going to maintain this, and no one would expect him to. But the question, I guess, is, for me, is are United going to give him enough chances per match where he's going to get 2-3 goals a game? I think he still warrants the outlay. He's only 8 million, and he represents strong value. But I just think with the fixtures that he's got, and he's 19 years old. I mean, Sterling goes off the boil for 10 games, and this could happen to him. This guy could do the same, and then and then the danger is, well, I got him for 8 million. He's now worth 8.7. I don't want to get rid because I'll lose 0.3, and then people will end up holding on to him. So I've been trapped like that before. And with a 19-year-old, it's a bit more of a risk. So we'll see. Let's see if United absolutely explode and put goals past Everton and Man City and Arsenal. If they do that,
I just can't see Everton.
Then fair enough.
I think they're really tough games. It's come at a good time for non-owners because the Sunderland game, and then suddenly you got these 3 games.
You're both going to eat your words.
No, but what I'm saying is I'm slightly different to Mark. Mark's being very cautious. He, teenager come in, unsustainable shot to goal ratio. I'm not like that at all. I'm quite pragmatic about getting him in. I'm just looking at those fixtures. I think there's so many actually good and cheaper strikers like Bardi and Wilson and Gomez and all of these strikers. There's so much competition for these 3 spaces. I just think for that block of 3 tough games, Martial was not top of my list. But having said that, this Sunderland is so woeful.
Yeah.
I can't even. There are actually no words within football jargon to describe how poor Sunderland.
He could actually justify himself over that. He's got 4 in the next 4 games. 3 of them are tough and 1 of them's easy. Yeah. He could justify. He could get enough points in that 1 game. To get any more points.
Yeah, absolutely. But if he blanks against Sunderland, everyone's going to go, "Oh no, what do I do now?" Well, they're going to presume that if he doesn't score against, just like they're going.
No, I agree. At that point, no one's going to get him in, but it doesn't mean that he's not going to score points.
No, but people who have got him in, and I put the armband on him against Sunderland, will suddenly, just as they're going, "Oh, he's the new saviour of United. He's going to get 20 goals." If he doesn't score against Sunderland, the people are going to overnight go, "Oh, he's not going to be able to do it." He's not. So it's extremes, isn't it? At the moment, he's in incredible form. Scored 3 goals in 1 of the bit appearances, and he looks amazing. But that could all change if he blanks on Sunday and gets dragged off after an hour because United are playing in Europe against Wolfsburg and it's a key game and they want to preserve him. So, United lost their opening Champions League game. They've got Wolfsburg. That's a far tougher job than City at Mönchengladbach. So, you could look at it and go, if he is their leading light, maybe they've got to rest him for part of the game against Sunderland. Just as you argue that Aguero could be hauled off, John T, Martial could be as well. So in fact, I think it's more likely. So because United could put 3 or 4 past Sunderland with goals all over the shop, Mata, Rooney, So who knows?
Yeah, I mean they've got some options there. I mean, I know. I cannot fathom a universe where Sunderland are going to get a 0-0 or beat Man U. There's going to be goals there.
What do you mean? What do you mean? Yunus Kabul can play. It's all right.
I actually think
he's not playing, is he?
Marshall's almost deflecting some of the attention away from some of the others. So I think perhaps Mata owners could be very pleased with themselves this week. So I think Mata's got a very good chance of doing well against a team like Sunderland. But yeah, anyway, that's Martial.
Well, Granville, you'll get the chance to have a go at me and John T in a few weeks' time when we both get him in after those fixtures. Tough, mate. But I mean, we'll see. We'll see how he does. I think he'll score against Sunderland. I think there's a very good chance of that. But let's see how he does after that. But I just think I've got Gomez, Wilson, Aguero, and like John T says, it's not. I've got other fires to put out at the moment. So
that's the thing. I mean, you got an Inferno.
Oh, come on!
Look, you had 4 players who scored 0 points at the weekend. 5 points. Oh, including Kolarov. Okay, I'll let you off that one. You got Gomez, Elphick, Silva, and Shaw. Those are 4 big problems.
Yeah. Well, there you go then.
Sounds like we got the new words to call this Scoutcast.
Exactly. I need Fireman Sam quickly.
Yeah.
I mean, okay, defenders. John T, we've got some questions on this because this is pertinent to me at the moment.
Yeah. So your mum's Athletic. What's our opinion on Chelsea? Can they regain some of their defensive solidity? And he actually asked, is Ivanovic worth the extra over Azpilicueta? And Azpilicueta is seen as the best option. And Casuals for Kinnear asked, what's the best Chelsea West Brom option? So that's kind of linked in really. And the Colonel asked, with some tough fixtures coming up for Man U, is it time to swap Darmian? Azpilicueta looks like the one. So there are lots of questions there about Chelsea defence mixed in with a bit of West Brom.
Okay, so what do we think? Because I am seriously considering Zuma. Okay,
I am as well. I am, and the thing is, most people want the security of going for Aspi or Ivanovic, but I'm willing to take the risk. I just think he's going to play Zuma for the next couple of games. I'm sure he is. Chelsea got good fixtures. Yeah, he can be dropped at any point, but that's what you have the squad for. I think. Go on.
I think Zuma tends to play in the tougher games. It's a bit weird that he's seen as the kind of the younger, more inexperienced, but it's his pace. That when he wants to toughen it up, and we've seen with Mourinho before, he will bring in the youngsters for the supposedly on paper tough games. I think Zuma, I mean, if there was no John Terry, no competition, but I think it's looking like it's not a case of John Terry's been dropped, in comes Zuma. It's a case of they're going to be managed, and we saw exactly the same thing last season. Zuma did well. Wow, look at him go, and then suddenly he didn't play every week. I think the benefit of him, if you've got a good defence in terms of your bench, Zuma, it's unlikely, it's possible, but it's unlikely that he'll come on if he's not in the starting 11. So there's your case. So if you've got a good 4.5 million defender, then I would do that. But if you've got an Inferno raging in your defence, he'd be the last person. He's more fire. That's like putting petrol on your Inferno.
Okay. Yeah, good analogy. I disagree. I don't think this is the same as last season. I think his treatment of John Terry is a signpost to say it's coming to an end for John Terry. He's played Cahill and Terry tonight at Walsall. For me, that's not him reinstating his first choice back 4. That's him saying Terry's not going to play at Newcastle. Basically, Mourinho wants to push his defensive line up. He can't do that with Terry and Cahill because Terry gets found out. So he's doing it with Zuma's pace. That's allowing Azpilicueta to get forward more because Zuma's covering that side, and Azpilicueta's benefiting from it. I think Terry's days are numbered. I don't think he is going to feature very much, and when he does, it's going to be with Cahill on the bench because I think he really fancies Zuma now. He sees Zuma as the future, and it might take a few more weeks to confirm that, and it is a risk getting him in before that. But I was looking at tonight's team sheet and I was thinking to myself, if Zuma doesn't play tonight, I'll get him for Saturday at Newcastle. And he hasn't, so I might well do.
If he's benefiting Azpilicueta, and Azpilicueta we know is going to start, just get Azpilicueta.
Yeah, it's 0.6 low, and I know we don't need the money, but you just never know. And it's a good call. And I'm not saying I'm not. I'm saying I may well double up at some point. But I just think that, I mean, Azpilicueta is a very good bet.
I don't think.
I'm
not even sure that Chelsea's defence justifies spending that much money on it. That's why Zuma is a bit more attractive. They're not keeping clean. Okay, they got a clean sheet against Arsenal. They're not really keeping that many clean sheets. They've struggled quite a lot at the back. I know those things will probably change eventually, but still, I think to spend 6.5, 7 million on a Chelsea defender, I fell for it at the beginning of the season by getting Ivanovic. They just don't look right at the back right now, and just because they've got a clean sheet against 10-man Arsenal doesn't mean anything.
Yeah, but like United against Sunderland, they're going to Newcastle. Newcastle just can't. They don't offer any threat whatsoever. So if Chelsea concede to Newcastle, fair enough. I'll probably consider. I wouldn't. I'm not going to double on Chelsea yet, but I think there's an option for doubling on Chelsea this season because I think you're only going to get Hazard or Pedro. I don't think Costa's an option. So unlike City, there isn't a wealth of attacking talent. So at some point, I think we'll all be talking about doubling on Chelsea defence. Right. Because we know they can produce 6-7 clean sheets in a row. When will it happen? Probably around Christmas, around that time. But I don't know. That's why Zuma at this stage is good because you get him in and it's cheap.
If we're looking at basically what I often say, this game it's just 15 blank spaces and you fill them with people who are going to score most points. And we've got West Brom here, so we're all talking about Chelsea and Zuma and stuff. West Brom have got lots of much cheaper defenders, and they really are keeping the clean sheets. And in Johnny Evans' case, a bit injury prone as we know, but he's getting the bonus as well. So this is something Shifty asks. He's not just saying about doubling up, he's saying want to triple up on them. So get Myhill in, get Dawson, and blimey, if someone had been doing that for the last 3 or 4 weeks, they'd be getting like 25 points.
The only problem with tripling up is that basically that's 1 goal away from no clean sheets in a week. I just don't like it. I think it's just eggs in one basket.
I mean, I like doubling up on attackers sometimes. It's quite a good way of making that choice. I did that a lot with Sturridge and Suarez, and you can make the choice who's you can luck out there and have both do it. But I do agree with you with defence. It's not something I would do. Triple would just be insane.
No. There is. I mean, you can do. I mean, you got Myhill. I mean, Myhill's a goalie to have a think at the minute.
Yeah.
I was glad to have got him on the wild card. But if you double up with another. West Brom, probably Evans. I mean, Evans is quite cheap, and you consider that he's dropped. He's starting up at 5 million. He's 4.8. He's getting bonus.
He's my absolute number one. He's my number one transfer target in defence. Except I can't do it until Saturday morning. Cause, I mean, he could walk over the road and get injured. He could just have his cornflakes and get injured. I don't know. So, but on paper, if he's playing. He's going to get that clean sheet and he gets the bonus as well.
It seems that way. I mean, he's got a lot of clearances, blocks, interceptions. That's his key. Dawson, obviously, the safe route. He's in the watch list at the moment. We did say we'll give Evans a bit of time. I knew he would do well there. He's going to play every game when fit, but that's the big thing, when fit. West Brom's fixtures: Everton at home, Palace away, Sunderland at home, Norwich away, Leicester at home. The beautiful thing about West Brom defenders is you can play them away from home, and actually they're tighter away from home than they are at the Hawthorns. So... Yeah, I mean, for me, I'm going 2 defenders this week, and it could be Zuma and Evans, which covers both those defences for the cheapest route, apart from Begovic. I don't want to take Butland out of in goal, and I've got McCarthy at 4 million, who may well go. I may well get Begovic or Myhill in after that and double up on Chelsea or West Brom. But I think my 2 moves are going to be those 2. I think I am going to gamble on Evans, and I am going to gamble on Zuma. There's people at home now going... including Granville, I'm sure, but we'll see.
No, because those are the 2 that I would go for as well.
Yeah.
It just shows you, doesn't it?
Dante, new question. Let's talk a bit about Silver, I think.
Yeah, Barry Wodge and Spectrum ask about this. It's basically to do with the Man City options, especially Kevin De Bruyne and Sterling. Is he no longer a decent option? Well, I personally think he is. It's just he's injured. So of the 3, he's the most injury prone. So I think all 3 are great options. I think De Bruyne is looking potentially the best, but it's just Silva's injury. I mean, like Johnny Evans, like joking about getting injured having his cornflakes. David Silva just walked onto the pitch, and before the match had even started, he injured himself. You know.
Yeah, so, I think the problem with Silva is I think Pellegrini is wary of pushing him too hard. Last season there was a report about, I mean, Silva's got an ankle problem. He's always had an ankle problem for many seasons, and last year he was forced to play a lot of matches because City was struggling, and then didn't have someone like De Bruyne to come in. This season, Pellegrini was looking at it going, well, I've won all my games so far. I've got West Ham at home and I've got De Bruyne on the pitch, so I can afford not to take a risk with Silva, and he hasn't taken a risk of him in the Capital One Cup either. So the difference this year compared to last is City doing well, and also Pellegrini's got more options. So it makes sense that we're going to see Silva rested more often. I don't think he is any more injury prone than he was last year. I just think Pellegrini couldn't take any risks. De Bruyne, I watched him against West Ham, massively impressed. He was everywhere, absolutely everywhere. So, yeah, I mean, for me, I probably am thinking of going De Bruyne to Silva, Silva to De Bruyne at some point. I haven't, because of the bonfire in my team, I can't do that. So, you know, but I agree. Yeah, Granville, what do you think?
What are you asking me? Sorry.
Well, De Bruyne over Silva.
No. Yeah, I do. I mean, the thing is, I'm not been a massive fan of Silva in terms of FPL. I think he's the best midfielder in the league in that position, definitely. But it's the injuries in particular. Last year he scored a few goals, but previous to that, yeah, he's been 8-10 goals a season tops. So I don't know. At 10 point, how much is he? 10.5.
No, he's 10.3 now, I think, Silva.
Yeah. So, he's not cheap. You want to be guaranteed him to be playing every game. He picked up an injury in the warm up.
Yeah, that's it. He literally walked on the pitch. There you go. Pop, gone.
Yeah.
I mean, I replaced him.
There are other safer options. There's also Yaya Toure, who is 9 million. It's just, if Silva and De Bruyne are playing, then Yaya Toure is going to play withdrawn. But
but Jonty's ruined Yaya Toure for me. I can't ever have him in my team.
I know exactly what I mean. I was very tempted this season to have him a couple of times.
Yeah.
And I resisted it.
He is the dullard's choice and king of the dullards, Yaya Toure. So I can't go near him. It's as simple as that.
Yeah, I mean, as just been pointed out on the chat on YouTube, it's big. His biggest strength really is the fact that he's game time. I mean, that's what you want. Dan Ingham said that. I think so. That's King's Poston on our site. Biggest strength is game time. And it is. I mean, he's that lovely security blanket. It's like the Van Persie of old.
I refuse to cut that onto that duvet.
But speaking of security blankets, now I've got a question here about Hazard. So the guy that you're after. So Patch asks, is the love for Hazard premature, given he only looked a real threat once?
Granville, you don't rate Hazard, do you, at all? Is that right?
Rubbish. Why are you putting things into my mouth like that? I did most of the season last year.
I actually said he was a flash in the pan, Granville.
He's probably championship level player. No, of course I do. But they priced him really high this season. He probably deserves that price because he scored over 200 points last season. Fair enough. He relies on penalties. He's Chelsea's best player, but they bought Pedro, and Pedro has shown that he can score. He can score goals, score points. So there's an alternative there for 2.5 million less. I think that's what it is, or 2 million less. So I don't think Hazard is as essential. If you're going to go for a Chelsea attacker as he was last season. Costa's a bit. He's not really a choice this season, I don't think, and he's going to be missing for the next couple of Premier League games. I think Pedro can cover him. What do you think?
Jonty, what's your view on this? I mean,
Hazard. I did a little had a look in the members' stats area.
Not too much.
I'm not going to do too much. So I'll give a general flavour of this. So I did an average of him over the season, then also seeing what he was like in the last game week. and it was absolutely huge difference. I mean, I know, yes, it was 9 men, but those 9 men was Arsenal. So, and they've had supposedly easier games. But in terms of goal attempts, in terms of touches in the opposition half in the final third, everything up, involvement up. The goal attempts 4 there. He was averaging 1.7 over the season so far. So, he's really upped his game. Now, is that a one-off, or is he going to continue doing it? Well, he's got Newcastle next. Another option I'm considering, probably not this week, I have Sanchez. Sanchez has some tough games coming up. Sanchez has been a huge letdown. So I'd be tempted by, I said earlier, I'm a fan of doubling up attackers, Hazard and Pedro. That looks good for the next few weeks.
Blimey, that's risky, though. I mean, they've got good fixtures, though. You've Newcastle and then 2 home games, Southampton and Villa.
Absolutely brilliant, and they're great. I mean that I don't see that as a risk. And then that gives me the option, because I can see, well, if Hazard is, just that was a bit of a one-off, and you can't do it against 11 men. Well, then I'll keep Pedro. Or if Pedro goes off the boil, well, then I keep Hazard.
He can't do it against 11 men, Hazard.
Cool.
Blimey, no, I mean, I think you're right. Though I saw the game. I saw some of the game against Arsenal,
definitely better.
And there was something different about Hazard. Just when he got the ball, he was back to his kind of like driving straight at the opponent. And he was up against Bellerin, who's not an easy fullback to face. Bellerin's full of pace. He really had a go at him. I fear for the Newcastle. He's up against Janmaat, who's a good going forward. But he's, I think he's going to have a problem containing Hazard. And I think, after that, 2 home games, one of them against Southampton, who have also got problems at right back. I mean, Cedric seems to be out of favour all of a sudden. Yoshida's playing right back. He had a mare against United. And then they've got Villa at home, who have got Bakuna at right back, who's not even a right back, or they can play Alan Hutton. Need I say more? So all of a sudden, you're looking at his next 3 and going, blimey, okay. If he's on his game, he could have some fun against those 3. So, I don't know. If Silva's a doubt going into the weekend, I may well be brave enough to switch to Hazard, and then I may even put the armband on him. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. We've got some interesting stats on the season. We all know that it's been a struggle for all of us, right? No matter how good your previous seasons were, we've got evidence of that, because we've got some stats which Red Lighting has given us, both on the current FFS League leader and on Villaronca, who, if you don't know, is winning. He's current leader in the Hall of Fame. What the Hall of Fame is, it measures your previous FPL seasons and gives you a Hoff rating. It's meant to be a rough guide to who the best FPL managers are, up for discussion. But anyway, Villaronca's top of that. Jonty, you got some interesting stats to roll out there.
Yeah, so this obviously makes us feel a bit better. But what it is so Red Lightning's looked at this. Jason Smith, he's the new leader of the Fantasy Football Scout lead in FPL. He's on 365 points, which puts us to shame. He's just outside the top 100, and he hasn't played any chips, so that's good. But if we look at the top 10,000, they've 31% have already used their triple captain chip. So, we're looking nearly a third of the top 10k have already used that. Now, come a double game week, and if we can get that right, well, then that's goodbye to that lot.
Yeah, that's going straight on Aguero for 4 points for me.
So, we'll have to mess with our 6 points there. So, and 28% have used their bench boost already. So, that's quite a powerful one as well for a double game week. Just 2% have used their all-out attack chip is a bit of a non-event. And 23, so actually, 23% use their first wildcard. So then it dips down a bit. So
that's quite low, I think.
That's very low.
I know.
That's lower than I thought it would be.
So you've got so there's 3/4 of that lot still got their wildcard, and that's pretty bad. So Villaronca, the number 1 in our Hall of Fame, absolutely monster at this game. Never finished outside the top 5,000. He's got a huge rank. His rankings are just fantastic across his 7 seasons. And he's currently 336,000 on 275 points. I actually don't think that's too bad.
He's thrashing us.
I'm just outside the top 500,000. So he's obviously doing better than me. But I'm quite happy with it. I feel I can get into the top 10,000 at some. I can sniff it out in a few game weeks, but that's So anyway, so there's some interesting stats there.
Yeah, I mean, Villa it always comes good, and if he is going to finish in top 5K, he's going to have a good end to the season. But that's pretty reassuring that he's finding it fairly difficult as well.
Yeah.
Those stats on the triple captainship are quite extraordinary, because given the way that captains have been unpredictable, I wonder how many of that 31% have actually got good use out of that chip.
Well, I think they must have done, because if they're bold enough, if they're the kind of player that's not going to do it during a double game week, then they're probably going to be a little bit more maverick, and they're probably going to do it on someone like Wilson or Mahrez.
Yeah, maybe.
No.
Yeah.
It just shows you how. I mean, it just shows you that. I mean, like that's such a vital chip to still have in your armoury, and it's a vital chip to play right.
Yeah.
Because if you play that wrong and you get, you got it on Aguero home to West Ham, what looks like a banker, and you're only getting 6 points out of it. It really, it can do some damage to your season.
It could do all kinds of damage. It could do some damage to your foot, as we saw a couple of weeks ago on the Scoutcast. Yes. So, one last question from the community.
Yes.
From Disable. Yes. Disable's very good at coming up with these kind of questions, and he's posted a rather interesting one to go out on tonight, hasn't he, John T?
Yes. He's asked which breed of dog best fits your character. So I'll try and think of one while I ask you two. So,
well, you've got a funny ready.
No, I haven't got a funny one. I've got one. It's not that funny. It was just about I'd be a beagle, so I can hunt some more points. But it's not very good, really.
No, that's pretty.
I can tell by the reaction to that.
That's pretty disappointing.
Bad. I think yours would be something like a Doberman Pinscher, because you're always trying to pinch.
Oh, very good. Very good. I was going to say I'm a bit of a Scooby-Doo, because I haven't got a Scooby-Doo what I'm doing this season, perhaps. Or probably we've got a Basset Hound, and they're very stubborn. So I would probably say the Basset, because I don't know when to say I've made an error. I just hang on to Sanchez and Aguero forever, and never move off that. So I'll go for that. John T, you're a proud dog owner.
Yeah, I've got two dogs. One who's kind of a bit like a Spinoni, which is an Italian Spaniel, and one that's a Cockapoo.
Is there a dullard of the dog world?
No, I think there's types of dogs. Basically, it's a dog that no, I mean, I don't think there is any dogs, because it just depends on the character of the dog. I think it's hard. I think for me it would have to be something like, say, a retriever, because I'm always going back on my word, like not getting collar off.
Very good, very good indeed. Yes, probably a golden retriever this season. Okay, let's talk about transfers to round it off then.
Yeah.
So I'll put mine straight out there. I've got two. I've got two options. I'm either going to go Evans and Zuma, risky. Or if Silva's still a doubt, and if Pellegrini don't put that right for the weekend, then I may well double on Chelsea. Hence my caption tonight, resorting to Chelsea. It could be Zuma and Hazard, and the armband going the way of the Belgian. So that's me. John T, do you want to put yours out there?
It's a tough one. I've got a kind of a smouldering bonfire in my defence. I've got Morgan, who's I don't know if you saw the Stoke Leicester game. I have no idea what he was doing, but it enabled Butland to get an assist, so put it that way. He didn't do his job. He's been a complete non-starter this season. Darmian possibly facing competition from Valencia now. Tadic taught him a sorry lesson in defending.
Yeah.
And also fixtures are tough. I've got this rubbish player Kolarov, and I've got Richards, who I actually quite like, even though Villa can't keep a clean sheet. And I've still got Ward, who's injured, but I'm going to keep him, I think, because he's the kind of player I'd kind of want back. So anyway, I've got that lot. West Brom playing Monday. I don't like not having a West Brom defender anymore. They're just absolute bankers for clean sheets. I think Morgan to Evans. How boring is that? But
pretty boring.
If I decide my exciting option is go Mr. Marshall and captain him, or Sanchez out for Hazard and captain him.
Granville, what's John T going to do?
He's not going to do Sanchez out.
No.
Absolutely. I'm going to put money on that now. He's not going to do Sanchez out. It's just not.
not this week, no.
No. So why even mention it?
It's something I've been mulling over, because what I'm thinking is that maverick mindset, which I don't have, but I'm aware of it, and I think of it. I always think each week, right? I'm really dull. I know I'm going to do this, but if I wasn't dull, I would do this. But the thing is that if I wasn't told I would do that, that's managers like Andy who's riding high in our league at the moment.
Yeah, and he does it.
I dream about being another manager sometimes.
Granville,
Andy's really benefited this season from it being a difficult one. He's been able to. He's chosen the right players, obviously. Leicester players, and then De Bruyne. That was a good move.
Absolute classic move. Granville, what's your transfer?
I think I'm going to do Well, I've got a bit of a problem in defence now because I've got Ward, who are kept hold of, and I've got Gomez, who looks like he's lost his place. I know Rodgers went. Did he go 3 at the back?
Yeah.
Yeah, and do you think he's going to keep to 3 at the back? What did he play tonight?
I don't know.
1-1 against Carlisle, believe it or not.
He could have gone 4-4-2. He did play Shan, Lovren, and Skirtle, but I don't know if Shan played in midfield or not. I haven't checked that yet. I'm rationed for midweek football. I can't watch it, so I will check after this for you. But I think Gomez is.
Moreno has started tonight, and
Yeah.
he also got an assist. I think he's going to start Moreno, and I think Gomez's days are numbered.
Yeah.
I think he's as youngster, he's had his chance. He always plays. It's not even his position, really.
So are you going Evans as well? It's not going to be
no. I think I'm going to do Zuma.
Yeah.
I'm going to do Gomez to Zuma because I've just got enough to do that transfer. I was looking at Sanya as well to double up on City.
Yeah, but Zabaletta's back now. Risky.
I know he's back. But he probably won't. He'll probably play another week. I don't know. And Kolarov could. You never know because I don't know when Clichy's back. But you know what will happen. They'll start getting rotated.
Yeah, that's coming. But I think we're all right at the moment. Yeah, I mean, but Kolarov won't get any points now. Jonty's got him anyway. That's the trouble.
So I do need to. That's a good reason to strengthen my defence. I need to do that. So probably Zuma, and there's a chance I'll double up with Evans. It's the same as both of you. It's really boring this week.
It is. Yeah, we've been.
The reason why I did such maverick moves last week is because I hadn't made a decision on the podcast that I couldn't go back on. It was easy.
Captains, I'm going to put it out there. It's probably going to be Aguero, and if I get Hazard in, I may well go to Hazard. John T, quickly, your captain. I think
Payet, Pedro, Aguero. I'm wavering between all of them. Currently on Payet.
Okay. And yourself, Granville, to go out on?
I'm going to go for Tony Marshall.
Your man Marshall. We'll see. We'll absolutely see. It'll be very interesting if he just puts Sunderland to the sword. I would take great pleasure if he blanks against Sunderland because I think then there's going to be a lot of people going, oh dear, that's a bit worrying.
I'd have to develop a cold next week if that's the case.
Yeah, I can't see it. I think he's a good bet. I think people are going to benefit straight away from him, but we'll see how he does over those next 3. We'll see if that flash in the pan comment, which I apparently made, it was the case. Granville's gone into Satan mode there with his light there. Nice touch there with the Blair Witch finish. Brilliant. It's a good night for me.
Good night.
Good night from me.
Good night, all.